Today our topic is the Stoic secret to building discipline. Discipline is something many of us struggle with. We want to eat healthier, exercise more, work harder, or save money, but often we fail. Why is that? The ancient Stoic philosophers had a lot to say about discipline, and their wisdom can help us today. The Stoics believed that discipline is not just about forcing yourself to do things you don't want to do. It's about understanding your mind, your desires, and your fears. It's about training yourself to see the world clearly and act with purpose. Let's explore how Stoicism can teach us to build discipline in our lives. First, let's talk about what Stoicism is. Stoicism is a philosophy that started in ancient Greece and became popular in Rome. It was practiced by people like Marcus Aurelius, a Roman emperor, and Epictetus, a former slave. The Stoics believe that the key to a good life is not in external things like money, fame, or power, but in how we think and how we respond to the world around us. They taught that we can't control everything that happens to us, but we can control how we react. This is the foundation of Stoic discipline. So, how do we build discipline using Stoic principles? The first step is to understand the difference between what we can control and what we can't. The Stoics call this the dichotomy of control. Some things are up to us, like our thoughts, our actions, and our attitudes. Other things are not up to us, like the weather, other people's opinions, or the past. When we focus on what we can control, we feel more powerful and less stressed. When we focus on what we can't control, we feel helpless and frustrated. Discipline starts with accepting this truth and directing our energy toward what we can change. Let's take an example. Imagine you want to get in shape. You can't control how fast your body changes or how others judge your progress. But you can control whether you go to the gym, what you eat, and how consistent you are. By focusing on these things, you build discipline. The Stoics would say that worrying about things outside your control is a waste of time. Instead, focus on your effort and let go of the results. This shift in mindset is the first step toward building discipline. The next Stoic principle for discipline is to practice self-denial. This might sound harsh, but it's actually very practical. The Stoics believe that we should regularly deny ourselves comfort to strengthen our willpower. For example, they would fast, sleep on the floor, or wear simple clothes, not because they had to, but because they chose to. By doing this, they trained themselves to be comfortable with discomfort. Why is this important? Because life is full of discomfort. If we can't handle small discomforts, how will we handle big challenges? By practicing self-denial, we build resilience and discipline. We learn that we don't need everything we want, and we can endure hardship. Let's apply this to modern life. Maybe you love scrolling through social media or eating junk food. These things are comfortable and enjoyable, but they can also distract us from our goals. The Stoic approach would be to practice self-denial. Set a rule for yourself. No social media for a day, or no sweets for a week. At first, it will be hard, but over time, you'll build discipline. You'll see that you can live without these comforts, and you'll feel stronger for it. This doesn't mean you should never enjoy life. It just means you should be in control of your desires, not the other way around. Another Stoic tool for building discipline is to remind yourself of your mortality. This might sound dark, but it's actually very motivating. The Stoics believe that remembering death helps us appreciate life and focus on what really matters. They called this Memento Mori, which means remember you must die. When we realize that our time is limited, we are more likely to use it wisely. We stop procrastinating and start taking action. We focus on our goals and let go of distractions. This is a powerful way to build discipline. Think about it. If you knew you only had 1 year to live, how would you spend your time? Would you waste it on trivial things, or would you focus on what's important? The Stoics would say that every day is a gift, and we should treat it as such. By remembering our mortality, we become more disciplined. We stop putting things off and start living with purpose. The Stoics also believed in the power of habits. They knew that discipline is not something you can achieve overnight. It's something you build over time through small, consistent actions. Marcus Aurelius wrote in his journal every day, reflecting on his thoughts and actions. Epictetus taught his students to practice virtue in every moment, no matter how small. The idea is that discipline is like a muscle. The more you use it, the stronger it gets. Start with small habits like making your bed every morning or reading for 10 minutes a day. Over time, these small actions will add up, and you'll become more disciplined in all areas of your life. Another Stoic practice for building discipline is to visualize challenges before they happen. The Stoics called this premeditatio malorum, which means the premeditation of evils. The idea is to imagine the worst-case scenario and prepare yourself for it. For example, if you're nervous about a presentation, imagine everything that could go wrong. You forget your words, the audience laughs at you, or the technology fails. By visualizing these challenges, you reduce your fear and build mental strength. You also prepare yourself to handle them with grace. This practice helps you stay disciplined because it trains you to face difficulties head-on instead of avoiding them. Let's apply this to discipline. Imagine you're trying to wake up early to exercise, but you know it's going to be hard. Visualize the struggle, the alarm going off, the temptation to hit snooze, the cold morning air. Imagine yourself overcoming these challenges and getting out of bed. By doing this, you prepare your mind for the difficulty and make it easier to stay disciplined. The Stoics believe that by facing challenges in our minds first, we become better at facing them in real life. Finally, the Stoics emphasize the importance of purpose. Discipline is much easier when you have a clear reason for your actions. Why do you want to wake up early? Why do you want to eat healthy? Why do you want to save money? The Stoics believe that everything we do should align with our values and goals. When we have a strong sense of purpose, discipline becomes natural. We are no longer forcing ourselves to do things. We are choosing to do them because they matter to us. For example, if your goal is to be healthy so you can play with your kids or live a long life, then eating well and exercising become acts of love, not punishment. If your goal is to be financially free, then saving money becomes a step toward independence, not deprivation. The Stoics would say that discipline is not about suffering. It's about living in alignment with your values. When you have a clear purpose, discipline becomes a source of strength, not struggle. In conclusion, the Stoic secret to building discipline is about mindset, habits, and purpose. It's about focusing on what you can control, practicing self-denial, remembering your mortality, developing good habits, visualizing challenges, and aligning your actions with your values. Discipline is not about being perfect or never failing. It's about making small, consistent efforts and learning from your mistakes. The Stoics believe that discipline is the path to freedom. When you are disciplined, you are free from the control of your desires, your fears, and your distractions. You are free to live a life of purpose and meaning. So, start small, focus on what you can control, and remember, every day is a new opportunity to build discipline and become the best version of yourself.